You just got your first couple wholesaling checks and you're so excited. You got all these profits and you just don't know what to do with the money. Should you go buy a Lamborghini? Should you go out in the club and spend it all? Closest luxury store and buy all the nicest stuff, buy suits and all the fancy Rolexes you want? What should you do with your wholesaling profits? So this is a really important question because I think this is the part where not a lot of people talk about when it comes to wholesaling. We teach you exactly how to make hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars wholesaling real estate, but really once you get that check, everyone just shuts up and they don't really say anything else. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly the top 10 ways to spend your wholesaling profits in order from the least ROI to the most ROI, which is your return on investment when spending that money. Now, there's obviously smart and dumb ways to spend your wholesaling profits, and I'm just going to say this. Buying a Dior jacket is not going to help you make more money in your real estate wholesaling business or create that generational wealth that most people want. So let's get the top 10 down from the least ROI to the most ROI on what you should be spending your wholesaling profits on. But before we get into it, please smash that like button and subscribe to help this YouTube algorithm so more people can see this video. I can help more people in wholesaling. Zach Ginn here. So let's get going. From 10 to 1, the best ROI when spending your wholesaling profits. Now, number 10, this is a zero ROI or a negative ROI, which is basically buying liabilities. You do not want to be buying liabilities with your wholesaling profits. Going out to the club and buying fancy suit jackets and stuff you don't really need, jewelry, rings and things like that. You don't really need that. Again, it is probably smart with some of your wholesaling profits that you invest maybe into maybe a collared shirt or a nice shirt, or something you can go on your appointments. If you have really disgusting shoes, just get regular clean shoes maybe. Just helping your appearance out with sellers possibly, but that doesn't give you the green light to spend $5,000 on plastic surgery to make you look as beautiful or amazing as possible. No. Just the bare essentials, I guess, to make you look decent on an appointment, I guess. But really, that's a liability. But really, if it helps you get a better deal, okay. But really buying liabilities, let's say you make $100,000 after a year and you want to buy a car and you don't really want to have your dusty old 2002 Toyota Camry driving around your appointments in front of sellers. It looks bad. So maybe you want to invest in maybe a $10,000 to $15,000 standard clean looking car, nothing fancy. Maybe a regular Toyota Camry or like a Honda Accord. But this doesn't, again, give you the green light to go buy a Lamborghini truck and going out there and trying to flex on all these sellers. No, we're going to keep it pretty standard. The car I drive is, I'll say it, I'm not scared to say it. It's just a regular Ford F-150 pickup truck. It's pretty standard. It looks clean. It's relatively nice, but it's not fancy. It doesn't scream, I make all this money, but it really gets the job done. It looks okay, and the seller really doesn't care. So it's not too flashy, it's not too raggedy, but just a standard car. So yeah, you can buy a car, just make sure the car is standard and make sure it's got good gas mileage, and really it's the least liability possible. So don't go buying a Mercedes-Benz and all that stuff unless, you're absolutely just drowning in the money and you can obviously afford to do that. Now, number 9 here, which basically is better than any liability, is just buying an asset. So yes, any asset really will do you fine when it comes to your wholesaling profits. You can go invest that into gold, silver. I wouldn't consider Bitcoin an asset, but it's worth something. So maybe, but a very small percentage on just regular other assets. We'll talk about stocks and real estate a little later in this video, but really any assets, I guess, is okay. Sports cards, I guess if you think it's going to go up crazy in value, you can risk that a little, but don't go out and gamble the money. So buy some assets that's really going to help you out, because really wholesaling, you want to make and generate that income, but you also want to generate income when you're not working. So what I do recommend is buy income producing assets. That's the number one thing that's helped me in just, I don't have to work. That's the really interesting part about why I'm making this video is if I wanted to quit wholesaling today, just delete all my social medias, delete my YouTube channel, I could make enough money for the rest of my life where I don't have to work. I can live in a pretty standard 3-2 home and out here in Florida, and honestly don't have to do anything all day. I could sit on a beach all day and just drink a root beer and watch the sunsets every day. Just because the income producing assets that I've bought and created, I can literally do that all day. But am I gonna do that there's no chance. But at 21 years old, I got so much goals and crazy stuff I want to do. But having that option out there of having the time freedom where I don't have to go work. Like I could stay up till 4 a.m. all night and wake up at noon if I wanted to. Like it doesn't matter. I mean, my business is already automated, but that's for a different video. But really the point I'm saying is buying income producing assets. You can make those hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can turn that into assets that will pay you 10, 20, 30, 40, even $50,000 per month where you don't have to work at all. It's passive, but you still have to do a little bit of work to it. But really anything income producing is really awesome. And it will give you that financial freedom to help you spend time with your family and really change your life. So you don't have to wholesale. But again, I'm always going to wholesale. I have a passion for it. That's why I still do it. But I don't have to wholesale. I want to wholesale. Number 8 here is a little more passive than the average one. I'm not the biggest expert on this. I'm not a big guy on this, but note investing is actually pretty interesting. So there's a lot of note stuff out there. I know Note School does a bunch of stuff, but it's a pretty interesting thing if you want to reinvest your money and you want to keep it extremely passive. I'm not the biggest expert on it, so I leave it to Rick. Rick's like the note guy, but investing in notes could be pretty good. It's dealing with real estate, and it's relatively safe considering there's other crazier options you can do out there. Number 7. Now, this is going to be very low on a lot of people's list, like saying, Zach, why is this so low on your list? That should be my top thing I want to buy with my assets after everything. But no, number 7 here is rental property. Go on the MLS and buy rental property. That probably is number 7 on the ROI choices you have with your real estate wholesaling profits. So you just go to the MLS, buy a rental property, make 10 to 12% ROI after everything. Now we're going to talk about expenses, tax write-offs, all that. It comes out to maybe 10 to 12. You're pushing 14 if you get a good deal on the MLS, but really that's the most you're going to make. And for most people, that is absolutely amazing ROI. I'm telling you, for the average investor, that is phenomenal. But we're not the average investor. We are entrepreneurs. We are real estate wholesalers. We get a lot of risk and we get a lot of rewards. So I would say rentals is a really good one. If you're drowning in the cash and you just can't keep all these rentals and you're just going to start buying some, it's a really good one to do. Make sure the management's good. Make sure it's passive as possible. But you can't go wrong buying real estate rentals if you buy them at the right price and you manage them well to cash flow the best ROI possible. Number 6 here, which is very controversial, but stocks is better than buying a rental on the MLS. I'm just saying the truth. Rick has been investing in the stock market for a pretty long time, and I've been investing in the stock market since I was 11 years old. That's right. For 10 years, I've been investing in the stock market. And obviously since 2011, I've been investing in the stock market. My gains has destroyed the gains of the average rental guy out there. It's at least 20 to 30% year over year. And obviously there's some years I'll make 10, some years I'll make 40, 50. I mean, I think last year with the stocks, it's like 50%, but that's because things got a little crazy. I made some little crazy stock moves, but this is a real estate investing channel. We're not going to get much in the stocks, but just think about it for a second. Like the one play I did on stocks was, let me just give you an example. When I started real estate wholesaling, I was looking at all the companies that go around it and do it. And this was around 2017, and I had some money. Obviously I wanted to reinvest it into the business and things like that, but I wanted to buy some stocks with it. So one of the first stocks I bought was Zillow, and obviously you look at the chart of Zillow. I mean, it's insane what I bought it for. I think I bought Zillow for like $32, $34 and put a couple grand in it. But if I look at the charts from there, I'm up like 68% year over year, like overall like 280% in the last 4 years on Zillow. And I honestly only got that tip is because I'm like, everyone's using Zillow, and I think it's going to get bigger with the internet. So that's another reason why I did so well. So that's just the little bit of stocks that I'll invest in when it comes to real estate. That's just pretty interesting. And the reasons why I do pretty good in the stock market, because I'm pretty good at looking at arbitrage and seeing the value of things. So if you're not the big stock guy, don't get into it. Again, real estate investing, there's way better things. And honestly, I'm not putting all my money in stocks anymore. That's something I used to do, and I still do relatively to this day. But it's not the best part for my money. And obviously we're at number 6 here. There's 5 more to go that are way better than the stocks, to tell you. But again, stocks, you can't really go wrong if you do it the right way. If you're completely new at it, I don't recommend you go crazy into it. Number 5, this is way better than stocks. I'm telling you right now, if you have the cash from your wholesaling, let's say you're making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in your real estate wholesaling operation, and you're getting money now. what should you do? So one of the best options to do is, let's say you get a property under contract. It's worth $100,000. It rents for $1,000 a month, and you put it under contract for $50,000. Now you can go wholesale that, make $50K. Awesome, right? Celebrating that. But what if you just keep it at 50, put 10,000 into renovating it, or 20, and then rent it out for $1,200, $1,300. The ROI on that is so much better than buying something on the MLS. You're buying it for such a discounted property. Be your own cash buyer on that situation, and you'll get an extremely good ROI on there. If you start doing a lot of real estate wholesaling deals at deep discounts, you could definitely have enough money to buy all those rental properties up. The only one that's got a better ROI on that would be actually fix and flipping by yourself. So besides actually wholesaling the property, remember where we went from wholesaling it to actually buying it and keeping it as a rental, you have a better ROI technically if you actually closed on the property yourself and then you just flipped it, maybe put the 40, 50,000 into the renovations and then sold it for a bigger profit. Your profit ROI is smaller than if you wholesaled or you wholetailed it, but still if you put the extra money into it, the ROI is not really that crazy, but you'll still make way better than the stocks or rentals. Number 3 here, technically on the ROI side, so wholetailing. So let me give you a quick story. So if you have it on contract for 50, you could wholesale it for 100. You could do really well there. But if you did the fix and flipping, you bought it for 50, you put 50 into the actual extreme renovations of it, and you put it on the market for like 180. You'd make $80,000, but you would probably put $100,000 in capital. So you're pouring a lot of money in the capital there, but you do have a lot of risk on that property. But think about it. You made $80,000 versus the 50. So yes, that works pretty well and the ROI is there. But what if you wholetailed it? So wholetailing has a better ROI. You're not going to make that 80. Just telling you right now, you're not going to make that 80,000, but you can do more volume, which ends up if you can do 3 of those in a month versus doing 2, eventually you'll make more money doing the wholetailing than the fix and flipping. I'd rather do 2 deals at 60 than 1 deal at 80, right? So the wholetailing, let's say you buy it at 50, you spend $3,000 in just a really lipstick cleaning renovation, and you sell that thing for 130. You make 70. You're in and out in a month, and you can do more transactions that way. And you didn't sink 100K in capital. You only sunk like 53,000. So that's why I like wholetailing. That's probably one of the best ROIs possible. But here's the truth. There's 2 other ways to actually get better ROIs. Now, we're not going to get too greedy in here. There is better ROIs. So let me share it with you because I know you're chomping at the bit. But if you stop there, the ROI there is insane. It's better than any rental property, any stock market tips. Again, we're not regular Joe Schmoes on a 9-to-5 job here. We can get way better than 15 to 20% returns. So the last 2 here is number 2 would be creative finance deals. Lease options and subject twos are absolutely one of the best ROIs possible. They're rental properties. They're just like regular rentals, except you're buying them on creative terms, and the ROI is way better. So in the lease option, you're going to put $5,000 in on a down payment. The rent-to-own person is going to give you the $5,000, so it's no cost out of you. You make a rental arbitrage literally on the rents per month. You don't pay the taxes, and then at the end, you get a better price. So let's say you agree on the lease option for $100,000 end price, and the rent-to-own guy is at $120,000. Literally, that's an infinite return because you didn't put any money in your pocket. Again, lease options are pretty much as good as you can get. For example, the average ones for us, we're going to give the seller at least $5,000 for the terms and the actual to take over the mortgage and get the deed for it. And then we get rentals, and then the profits from there ends up being around 5, 6, even 7,000. So overall, it's always 110 to 120% return on like the subject twos. So it's an infinite return, and then at least 100 to 120,000 on deals that should be dead, that literally have no equity at all. Then lastly, probably the most infinite return possible is just investing in yourself and reinvesting in the business. This is the best one you can possibly do. So reinvesting in your business, doing stuff that buys you time. So maybe you're not out driving for dollars. You can hire someone to do it for you. Literally one of the best ones do it. Get an acquisitions person, up your marketing up even more, increasing your marketing budgets for your SMS, your cold calling, your RVMs, your probates, upping up the wholesaling operation, and just really scaling the most will give you one of the best ROIs possible. Reinvesting in yourself, practicing with yourself, becoming a better real estate investor, better acquisitions person. Literally the best returns you can ever get is doing that. And then lastly, investing in a really good tax person. So I'm not a CPA, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not some crazy tax person, so I'm not going to give you tax advice, but and paying for the service of a legitimately really good tax attorney or tax guy or person or gal or accountant. You could save thousands of dollars. They'll spend $1,000 with this person, but they could save you $20,000, $30,000, and $40,000 in saved taxes and returns. So it's an amazing ROI. So that's one of the best ones out there too. So that's it, guys. That is the top 10 ways to spend your wholesaling real estate profits. I'm telling you right now, we are so lucky as real estate investors. We have these options versus the average 9-to-5 job, which is like stocks or rentals. And that's basically it. So that's it, guys. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. And if you got any value out of it, again, please smash that like button and subscribe. Have a good one.